Hola clase, welcome to Spanish verb conjugation. We are going to look today at AR, ER, and IR verb conjugation in Spanish. Words that you need to know are verb. A verb is an action word in a sentence. Also, you need to know what conjugate means. Conjugate is to change the verb to match, the subject of a sentence. Infinitive is the unconjugated form of the verb. Then there is a stem. Well, let me give you an example first. For example, in English, this is English. In English, it would be to plus the verb. Okay? To walk. In Spanish, it is the word with the AR, ER, and IR endings. For example, caminar, comer, or vivir. All of these are in their infinitives. Notice that they have the ER, IR, and AR ending. Okay? Another word that you need to know, or another thing that you need to know, is the stem. Okay? The verb has two parts. It has a stem and an ending. A stem is the beginning. Of the verb without the AR, ER, or IR endings. Let's look at one of the words that we've already done. For example, caminar. Notice that here is your ending. And everything but the ending, C-A-M-I-N, camin, is the verb. The stem. Okay? So let's look at the endings. There are 3 endings in Spanish. And they are AR, ER, and IR. Those are your 3 basic endings in Spanish. Okay? On verb conjugation, it's very important that you are familiar with those definitions. And you need to definitely understand the stem and then ending of the verb. For example, hablar, comer, vivir. All 3 of these verbs, don't worry about their meanings right now, they all have a stem and an ending. let's look at the word hablar. Remember that everything except the ending is the stem. So our ending on hablar is AR. So our stem, the beginning of the word without the AR ending, is habla. Habl. H-A-B-L. Our ending is AR. On comer, our ending is ER, leaving our stem, which is com. So our stem is C-O-M, com, and our ending is ER. On vivir, our ending is ir, or IR, and the stem is viv. So you have viv and ir is your ending. Now, to organize our thoughts when you are conjugating, we use a little tool called a T-chart. All T-charts look the same. Simply looks like a T. And I am going to do 3 T-charts. Well, I'll do 2 here, and in a minute I will do the third. On the left side of each T-chart, it is always singular, represented by a single guy over here. Then our right side of the T-chart is plural. Of course, left side singular, right side plural. Okay, to organize my thoughts, I am going to go ahead and put hablar here, and usually I go ahead and put to talk. So it reminds me what the word means. Hablar means to talk. Then I put comer, and comer means to eat. Okay? I go ahead and I signify what my ending is on each one. This is an extra step, and once you get to know your conjugation, you really don't need to do this, but it leaves my stem. Before I get into the conjugation parts, we need to put our subject pronouns, because we cannot conjugate without knowing who we are talking about. If you will remember that your subject pronouns are I in the first person, which is yo, tú, which is you, second person, and that is second person familiar, tú. Then you have él, which is he, ella, which is she, and then you have usted. Notice that I clustered these 3 because they have the same conjugation. Now, remember that our left side is singular. This talks about individual people. Now let's look to the right side of the T-chart, and we still have to add who we are talking about. Who is our subject pronouns? For the first part, it is we or nosotros, which also can be nosotras. Okay? If it's all male, it's nosotros, or mixed gender, and then if it's all female, it's nosotras. For the second part, the you all, it is vosotros or vosotras. Then the plural of él is ellos. That is they masculine. Then you have they feminine, ellas. And then we have the you formal plural, which is ustedes. Now what I want you to note is it goes first person, second person, then third person. But not only does it go in the same order, but it relates to each other. Anybody plus I is we, which is nosotros. anybody plus tú or you is vosotros because it's informal. And then you have more than one guy or a mixed gender, a guy and a girl, it would be ellos. If you have multiple of girls, it would be ellas. And then, of course, if you are in a room full of people that you need to respect, maybe you're doing a speech, it would be ustedes. Okay? So now let's look at the verb hablar. Right off the bat, I can go ahead and write my stem. I can write my stem all the way through. Remember, the stem is everything except for the AR ending. So my stem for hablar is H-A-B-L. 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 All the way through. You don't have to change that. That stem goes all the way through the whole T-chart. Okay? Now, I'm using a red pen so that I can remember my AR verbs and kind of make a connection between color and the actual verb. For AR verbs, the endings switch. You take that AR verb off, the AR ending off. So you go ahead and put a slash through that. You're not going to use that again. The ending for yo, remember, it is o. The ending for tú is as. For él, ella, usted is a. For nosotros is amos. Vosotros is ais. And it has an accent on that A. And for ellos, ellas, and ustedes is on. So, as we look, it would be yo hablo, tú hablas, él habla, ella habla, usted habla, nosotros or nosotras hablamos, vosotros or vosotras habláis, ellos hablan, ellas hablan, ustedes hablan. Now let's look at the verb comer. Right off the bat, you can add your subject pronouns. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros or nosotras, vosotros or vosotras, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. My suggestion to you, now that we are conjugating, is for you to keep writing these subject pronouns to remind you. You want to know these like the back of your hand. Again, I go through and I look at the verb comer. The first part, C-O-M, is my stem. E-R is my ending. So I am going to go ahead and write my stem all the way through. C-O-M, 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 all the way through the T-chart. Now, I am going to mark through my ER ending. I'm going to mark through the ER ending, and I'm going to add my new endings. For yo, or the I form in the ER, it's O. For tú, it's es. For él, ella, usted, e. Nosotros, 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 nosotras is hemos. Vosotros, vosotras is es. And ellos, ellas, and ustedes is en. Notice the accent above the E. Don't forget that accent. Okay? So let's look at IR endings. Okay? Let's look at our IR endings. And what I'm going to do is kind of something a little bit crazy. I'm going to go ahead and put comer. I'm going to transfer it here. Just give me just a second to transfer it, because I want you to notice on the endings, what happens with ER and IR. And I'm just going to put the endings here. O, es, hemos, es, en, to kind of have it. Let's look at vivid. Left side is singular, right side is plural. We have the verb vivir, and that means to live. Okay? Again, I want to add my subject pronouns. Actually, let's put this down here so we have plenty of room. Nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Okay? Again, our ending is IR. And the stem is V, I, V, V, I, V, V, I, V. And you can put this through the whole T-chart because the stem does not change, never changes in regular verbs. Okay? So, for yo, the ending is O. For tu, the ending is S. For él, ella, usted, the ending is E. For nosotros, it's imos. For vosotros, it's is, and there is an accent on that I. And for ellos, ellas, and ustedes, it's N. Now, look at comer and vivir. They have some things in common. Notice that the first person, second person, and third person singular have the same endings, so it makes it very easy. But always remember that in the plural, we, it changes to emos, where in ER it's emos, and the you all is is when it's ace. But then again, third person plural, it goes back to being the same in. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I look forward to talking to you in class about it. Hasta mañana.